My name's Celeste, and I'll be your facilitator this evening. Thank you all for coming out to the Blackout Speak Out teach-in. JohnBennett is currently the Executive Director of Sierra Club Canada, and he's going to be kicking it off and explaining what this event is and why we're here tonight.
Oh, and thank you all for coming tonight. About a year ago, we started seeing some ominous signs of coming from the federal government in terms of making comments and suggestions and changes, all of which were directed at undermining environmental organizations across Canada, and also changing the rules and regulations that we use to determine whether a project should go forward or not, or how they can be improved. In this last budget, they just sort of dropped all the veils and dropped the gloves and said, we're out to get you. They actually, in a budget that slashes money, they added $8 million to the CRA in order to investigate environmental charities. Just to get an idea, environmental charities constitute about 8% of charities in Canada. We're one of the smallest sector of charities. And they've decided that we're the bad guys, because apparently I'm a radical dupe of foreign interests who's engaging in money laundering. And I'm glad that you still want to come out and hear me speak, so thank you very much. So when the budget came out and the changes to the Environmental Assessment Act were announced and the Fisheries Act were announced, I just happened to be in a meeting with the 9 other executive directors of Canada's largest environmental groups. It's actually just a peer group where we go to cry on each other's shoulders, but we actually did real business this time. And as we discussed what was happening, we saw clearly that we needed to make a much bigger statement than we've been making. We needed to involve more people and more groups. So we came up with the concept of Blackout Speak Out. So we started off a couple of weeks ago with ads in the Globe and Mail and Le Devoir, and we'll follow up on June the 4th with our actual Blackout Speak Out Day. On that day, all the websites of the 10 largest environmental groups will go black. What I mean by that is that when you go to those websites, there'll just be a splash page that takes you to the Blackout Speak Out website, and we'll ask you to send some emails that day. And we'll tell you on that day who we want you to send those emails to. But I'm pretty sure that there'll be a few politicians' email boxes that are going to melt. Because since the 10 groups announced it, we now have over 200 groups in Canada, including groups that aren't environmental groups. So we are very excited by this process. We have something like 20,000 individuals have already signed up, and we think we'll add about 100,000 people on June 4th. So we'll be sending out emails on that day, and all the other groups will be as well. So it's going to be one of those days where you're going to get lots of invitations to get involved, and I really hope that you will do that. As part of the build-up to that, I thought it would be really important to give people an opportunity to hear what the changes are going to be and what they mean and what is happening on Parliament Hill. So I asked Stephen and our representatives from Parliament to come and talk to us tonight, and they'll be able to explain what's going on.